I'm going to explore some of the 2,000 square miles of the best cruising, fishing and hospitality waterways in Europe. I have based myself here at Portlick Bay on Lough Ree near Athlone. Carnakilla cottages were built by Owen Keegan in a traditional style that echoes that of the first settlers on the Shannon.
I'm just reading a book here and it's all in German.
They're the Austrian lads. They're coming here for 18 years, every year. To come here at the start of the season, they love to fish for pike.
And the pike are the big guys, yeah?
Pike are the really big fish. The big pike fish, we release them.
Kind of more about luck, or do you need skill?
A combination, I suppose,
really?
Daniel, yeah. Combination of the luck and the skill.
This is very exciting.
I'd love to be going out with you myself because it is nice out on the boat, but Michael Flanagan is taking you out today.
Lough Ree is a large, rich limestone loch of 10,000 hectares dotted with about 50 islands.
Michael, nice to meet you.
Morning, Tanya, good to see you.
Hi.
Beautiful morning.
Yeah,
I want to come fishing for a few hours.
That's just amazing.
Oh, it's beautiful, sure, here. As I said, you've got the weather in this country. You look out across the lake here now. It's magical. It's either in you or it's not in you. I'm just completely obsessed with it. I've 4 young kids myself now, and funny enough, it's my young daughter that's nuts on angling.
Really?
She's 12 now and she's completely nuts.
That's so cool. That's really unusual.
It's a magical bit of water, but we'll tip in a bit more now in onto me right, over towards these little islands, and hopefully we'll pick up one in there.
It's beautiful over there. I think the fish are too busy enjoying the weather to come near us today.
A few hours later on the lake, I felt a sudden tug on my line.
Why does it feel like it's sort of pulling there?
I have to get in the hit there now, Tanya. Just keep the pressure on it, because we're going into shallow water now. Yeah, that's enough really now. Just bring the rod over your head.
Oh, that's so cool!
This is one of the sarge. This is a sarge.
Oh my God, he's gorgeous!
They're magical little fish. They're very small fish, but they're magical colours. They're beautiful colours.
Oh my God, beautiful!
That's actually what the pike will be feeding on.
Okay.
And sometimes when the pike comes at him, he takes him head first, because this goes down, see? If he comes from behind, that's where I grew up catching on the canals. He's gone off down into the deep end.
Oh, that was so cool.
He could end up dinner for a bigger fish, but that's life.
Yeah, well, as long as I didn't kill him.
Little did I think I'd actually see a bigger fish.
Oh, she's mad to go up to the boat. We get the hook on as quick as we can onto the hook mat. This is the business end. It is.
Wow.
A fish now with
God,
about,
I've never seen inside their mouths.
maybe about 12 pound or that, you know.
Oh my God, how cool. How do I?
That's it. Just like that, yeah.
This is so cool. Obviously, we can't bring him home for dinner. Obviously, we need to let her back in, yeah?
He's over the legal side.
Of course, yeah.
Size
Good.
now. She goes back.
She's amazing. I can't believe I'm seeing a live one close up like this.
We'll just let her in nice and gently here now. Watch her now. She'll get a bit of strength now. She's torn. There she goes.
Oh, she's good. Oh, wow.
Gone.
Goodbye.
At least we got one.
Oh, that was brilliant. I'm so glad.
What an amazing experience. I understand now why Lough Ree is up there with Alaska and Canada as one of the great wild waterways. Next day, Waveline cruisers collected me from my personal harbour at Portlick Bay, and I learnt why a cruiser is the best way to navigate the Shannon. Ecotourism is all about enjoying and respecting nature, so when you're cruising, you shouldn't travel too fast and disturb the wildlife. I'm meeting Mark Rolette from Fáilte, Ireland to hear more of how the water quality of the Shannon is vital to our economy.
For ecotourism in Ireland, I think everybody is becoming more conscious of the environment. So I think the type of holiday that you can have in the Lakelands is a great way of discovering the importance of the natural environment. People can experience nature at close quarters and see really a very undiscovered part of Ireland.
As the Shannon heads south, it enters one of its shallowest spots, the Shannon Callows, which regularly flood. This is where the pike and other wild fish spawn. It is also a well-known habitat for wild birds, including the corncrake. I'm seeing for myself why the Shannon and its lakes are one of the last great wild parts of Europe. I came across Matt Nolan, a fishery inspector, taking water samples from the Shannon, who told me more about the Shannon water quality.
Maybe, Tanny, you might just hold on to that, would you? And I'll have a dip here. Now, I don't know if you can see that. It's from a river point of view, that water is extremely clean.
Clear, yeah. So what do you do with this water?
It'll be analysed for a number of things, mainly for enrichment, or if we want to call it pollution. The actual standard of water in virtually all of our catchments is dropping every year.
What sort of pollution would there be, could you find?
Many of us, especially people living in rural Ireland, are pouring those waste detergents into septic tanks that are incapable of dealing with them. And they're simply going out into soak holes and soak pits that aren't capable of dealing with them, and they end up in streams or in groundwaters, and it's causing a problem. But we're also encouraging people maybe to use less, or people living in rural Ireland to put in bioseptic tanks. Very, very seldom do we get dumping of slurries or silage effluent now. It simply doesn't happen. But the concerns that we have is that farmers actually spreading it in inappropriate land, or maybe at the wrong time. And what happens really is that once it goes out into the local river, out into the local lake, we get what we call enrichment.
Algae is nature's way of trying to cope with pollution by eating up the waste. However, if they multiply, they can create a huge carpet of algae, which can block the sunlight, and as plants can't grow, fish have nothing to eat and so die. Clonmacnoise, an hour by boat from Athlone, was founded at a very strategic location. The junction of two major routeways, the Escoriada roadway and the River Shannon, which underwater archaeologists have recently discovered were linked by Ireland's oldest bridge.
I mean, imagine that 1,000 years ago, about 1,000 people lived here. It was a city, you know? There was buzz and there was life and there were houses.
I'm meeting with underwater archaeologist Niall Brady, who was one of the first to study this medieval bridge.
You're very welcome to Clonmacnoise.
Thank you very much. It's just amazing.
This is the centre of Ireland in the 9th century. What we see here is actually a later chapter. This is the early 13th century castle, which effectively takes over the dominance of Clonmacnoise in the Anglo-Norman period. I was part of a project that was involved with exposing the bridge that joined Offaly and Roscommon in the 9th century, and it's one of the earliest bridge constructions known in Ireland, and indeed is the first full timber bridge to be discovered.
And how strong do you think it was? I mean, what do you think it could carry?
The essential understanding is that that bridge would have supported the carriages as well as the pedestrians of the time, so you would have had wheeled vehicles.
So it was very strong.
Carts and wagons, very strong. And of course the span of the river in this location is quite significant. Today we're impressed by the Boyne Bridge and Drogheda, the single span. We really must consider a similar situation existing here on the Shannon in the early 9th century, where a team of builders and patrons would have come together to construct a very, very significant piece of engineering.
The Shannon has been influencing human settlement for thousands of years. While our ancestors depended on the Shannon for trade and travel, we are now dependent on it for our economic and tourism future. These wild natural habitats and historical riches seem to me to have a value worth protecting.